Good morning to all. We are gathered here to pay tributes to Professor Manmohan Singh, the economist prime minister who passed away on the evening of 26 December. Firstly, we'll pay floral tributes to him and observe a minute's silence. In Professor Manmohan Singh, we see a triad of an academic, bureaucrat, and political leader. He was a statesman with a vision to see India prosper economically, and the fruits of prosperity are shared equitably. Professor Manmohan Singh became the Finance Minister of India in 1991 at the age of 58. He was Member Planning Commission during 80-82, Governor of RBI 82-85, Deputy Chairman Planning Commission 85-87. He was Finance Minister in P.V. Narasimha Rao government during 1991-96. He was the Prime Minister of India for 2 consecutive terms on behalf of the UPA government during the 2004 to 14. He was the chief architect of economic reforms implemented in 1991. Center for Economic and Social Studies was associated with Professor Manmohan Singh. Professor Manmohan Singh inaugurated the Silver Jubilee celebrations of the CESS in 2006 January. The auditorium, named later in the name of BPR Vittal, was also inaugurated by him at that time. He inaugurated the International Conference on International Experience in Equitable Development, the proceedings of which were brought out as a book titled Perspectives on Equitable Development in 2009, edited by Professor Mahendra Dev. Professor Manmohan Singh, appreciating the setting of social science research centers away from capital region, at the inauguration of the conference, he emphasized the role of researchers in participating in policy debates and carrying out studies useful for policy making at the subnational and regional levels. He said social scientists had a public responsibility to shape the public opinion and contribute to knowledge, enabling political leaders to make an informed choice related to complex public issues. The speech that Professor Manmohan Singh has given at that time is there put on our website. It is for the young faculty and research scholars to look into it. CESS also brought out a paper on the book release of Professor C.H. Hanumantarao, the book titled My Journey from Marxism-Leninism to Nehruvian Socialism, which was released by Professor Manmohan Singh in 2018. Professor C.H. Hanumantarao is closely associated with Professor Manmohan Singh. I request Sir to give his address sharing his association with Professor Manmohan Singh and pay him tributes for his well-lived life.
Professor Manmohan Singh was a source of inspiration at the Delhi School of Economics and the Institute of Economic Growth because of the academic distinction he achieved at Cambridge and Oxford universities. I have had the privilege of working with him twice. First, as the director of the Institute of Economic Growth in Delhi during the 1970s, when he was the chairman of the institute, and later as member planning commission during 1980s, when he was the deputy chairman of the planning commission. He often used to advise we should be fair and firm while dealing with issues or individuals. At the Institute of Economic Growth, when he was the chairman, major changes in the rules and regulations were carried out to democratize the institute through greater participation of the faculty in its management as members of the governing body, academic committee, and Committee of Administration and Finance, as visualized by Professor V.K.R.V. Rao. In the early 1990s, along with the then Prime Minister, Sri P.V. Narasimha Rao, he, as Finance Minister, was the architect of economic reforms in the country through globalization and deregulation by liberalizing investment and trade. These systemic changes were unprecedented since the days of the first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. As a result of these reforms, India became one of the fastest growing economies in the world. However, because the succeeding government gave exclusive attention to market oriented reforms with a fragile infrastructure, there was a sharp deceleration of agricultural growth, widespread rural unemployment, and distress for over a decade. This mass discontent, so accumulated, resulted in the government of the day suffering an electoral defeat in the general elections held it in 2004, despite achieving a high GDP growth rate of 8% in that year. The new government, led by the Prime Minister, Professor Manmohan Singh, was quick to realize the need for pursuing growth with social justice. Achieving inclusive growth became the prime goal of 11th and 12th five-year plans. For ensuring inclusiveness in growth, the Prime Minister constituted National Advisory Council headed by Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, which recommended a series of rights-based measures, including Employment Guarantee Act, Right to Information Act, Food Security Act, Forest Rights Act, etc. These recommendations were promptly accepted and implemented by the Prime Minister, Professor Manmohan Singh. These two major transformative policy measures, namely liberalization of the economy and achieving inclusive growth, launched under his leadership, have come to stay and they call for their effective implementation. Thank you all.
The condolence message on the sad demise of Dr. Manmohan Singh, former Prime Minister. We passed the resolution that Professor Manmohan Singh, former Prime Minister, the architect of India's economic reforms, passed away on Thursday, 26 December 2024, at the age of 92 years. Professor Manmohan Singh served as the 13th Prime Minister of India from 2004 to 2014. In his passing away, the nation has lost an eminent economist, a distinguished leader with impeccable character, and a statesman in politics. He will be remembered for his invaluable contributions made to the development of our country. The Board of Governors, Chairman, Director, Faculty, Staff, and Research Scholars of Center for Economic and Social Studies deeply mourn the demise of Professor Manmohan Singh and convey their heartfelt condolence to the bereaved family.